The Highwayman by Alfred Noyes. The wind was a torrent of darkness upon the gusty trees. The moon was a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas. The road was a ribbon of moonlight looping the purple moor. And the highwayman came riding, riding, riding. The highwayman came riding up to the old inn door. He'd a French cocked hat on his forehead and a bunch of lace at his chin. He'd a coat of the claret velvet, and breeches of fine doe skin. They fitted with never a wrinkle, his boots were up to his thigh, and he rode with a jewelled twinkle, his rapier hilt a twinkle, his pistol butts a twinkle, under the jewelled sky. Over the cobbles he clattered, and clashed in the dark inn yard. He tapped with his whip on the shutter, but all was locked and barred. He whistled a tune to the window, and who should be waiting there but the landlord's black-eyed daughter, Bess, the landlord's daughter, plaiting a dark red love knot into her long black hair. Dark in the dark old inn-yard a stable wicket creaked, where Tim the ostler listened. His face was white and peaked, his eyes were hollows of madness, his hair like mouldy hay. But he loved the landlord's daughter, the landlord's black-eyed daughter. Dumb as a dog he listened, and he heard the robber say, "One kiss, my bonny sweetheart, I'm after a prize tonight, but I shall be back with the yellow gold before the morning light. Yet if they press me sharply, and harry me through the day, then look for me by moonlight, watch for me by moonlight, I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way." He stood upright in the stirrups, he scarce could reach her hand. She loosed her hair in the casement, his face burnt like a brand, as the sweet black waves of perfume came tumbling over his breast. Then he kissed its waves in the moonlight, oh sweet black waves in the moonlight, and he tugged at his reins in the moonlight, and galloped away to the west. He did not come in the dawning, he did not come at noon, and out of the tawny sunset before the rise of the moon, when the road was a gypsy's ribbon looping the purple moor, the redcoat troops came marching, marching, marching. King George's men came marching up to the old inn door. They said no word to the landlord, they drank his ale instead, but they gagged his daughter and bound her to the foot of her narrow bed. Two of them knelt at her casement, with muskets by their side. There was death at every window, and hell at one dark window, for Bess could see through her casement the road that he would ride. They had bound her up to attention, with many a sniggering jest. They had tied a rifle beside her, with a barrel beneath her breast. Now keep good watch, and they kissed her. She heard the dead man say, "Look for me by moonlight, watch for me by moonlight, I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way." She twisted her hands behind her, but all the knots held good. She writhed her hands till their fingers were wet with sweat or blood. They stretched and strained in the darkness, and the hours crawled by like years, till on the stroke of midnight, cold on the stroke of midnight, the tip of one finger touched it, the trigger at least was hers. The tip of one finger touched it, she strove no more for the rest. Up she stood at attention, with a barrel beneath her breast. She would not risk their hearing, she would not strive again, for the road lay bare in the moonlight, blank and bare in the moonlight, and the blood in her veins in the moonlight throbbed to her love's refrain. Tilot, 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 had they heard it, the horses' hooves ringing clear? Tilot, 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 in the distance were they deaf that they did not hear? Down the ribbon of moonlight, over the brow of the hill, the highwaymen came riding, riding, riding. The redcoats looked to their priming. She stood up straight and still. Tilot, tilot, in the frosty silence, tilot, tilot, in the echoing night. Nearer it came and nearer. Her face was like a light. Her eyes grew wide for a moment. She drew one last deep breath. Then her finger moved in the moonlight. Her musket shattered the moonlight. shattered her breast in the moonlight, and warned him with her death. He turned, he sped to the west. He did not know who stood, bowed with her head over the casement, drenched in her own red blood. Not till the dawn did he hear it. His face grew grey to hear. How best the landlord's daughter, the landlord's black-eyed daughter, had watched for her love in the moonlight, and died in the darkness there. Back he spurred like a madman, shrieking a curse to the sky, with a white road smoking behind him, and his rapier brandished high. Blood-red were his spurs in the golden noon, wine-red was his velvet coat, when they shot him down in the highway, down like a dog in the highway, and he lay in his blood in the highway, with a bunch of lace at his throat. And on a still winter's night, they say when the wind is in the trees, when the moon is a ghostly galleon, tossed upon cloudy seas, when the road is a gypsy's ribbon, looping the purple moor, the highwayman comes riding, 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 the highwayman comes riding up to the old inn door. Over the cobbles he clattered, and clashed in the dark inn yard. He taps with his whip on the shutter, but all is locked and barred. He whistles a tune to the window, and who should be waiting there but the landlord's black-eyed daughter, Bess the landlord's daughter, plaiting a dark red love knot into her long black hair. The Highwayman by Alfred Noyes.